Hi, I'm Allison, a therapist in Davidson, North Carolina. These are some of my favorite tips, tricks, and tools that I use with clients on a daily basis to help them reroot and feel grounded in their bodies. But now that I'm doing mostly telehealth, it's hard to show this over my computer. So I wanted to have a video to be able to offer all of you right now some tips, tricks, and tools for how to reground in your body in times of heightened stress. Let's start by standing up. Get your arms nice and loose, and we're just gonna swing our arms. So your arms are just swinging. And I'm trying not to hit my microphone here, but just let your arms swing. Feel your arms hitting across your body. You might let that back foot, as you sort of turn, lift. If it feels good, you could even add your gaze, sort of looking around the room, taking in your surroundings, noticing where you are. Notice where your arms are hitting in your body. Just notice what it feels like. You might swing your arms even higher up or lower down. There's no right or wrong. We're just swinging, letting gravity do the work. And slowly start to let that swing kind of come back down, almost as if you've sort of turned off a blender and it's just slowly coming back towards stillness. Slowly, slowly coming down until you settle into a stop. And I want you to just notice, what do your hands feel like? What do your arms feel like? What's it feel like in your body? Can you become aware of where you can sense gravity pulling on you? You might feel it in your arms or in your hands. Just sort of sense what that feels like. Good. And when you're ready, you might bring your feet a little bit wider than hip distance, and we're just gonna sort of bounce. So just start bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and let your arms bounce, let your legs bounce. Really, really bouncing. You might even bounce in your jaw and make some sounds as you bounce, as you move. And you could do this with your kids too, bouncing in your hands and your legs, bouncing any stress off the body, and then bouncing a little bit less, and a little bit less, and a little bit less, so you're at a barely bounce, but you're still moving. And just settle back to stillness. Notice what that feels like in your body. You might notice what your heart rate feels like. Where can you feel or sense that heartbeat in your body? What does it feel like in your arms? And again, where do you feel gravity on your body? Where can you feel that pull of gravity, that grounding force? Good. Now we're gonna do a breathing exercise. So we're gonna have a little bit of tapping. If it's too much to be touching your body, you don't have to do this part. It's just optional. So on an inhale, we're gonna use our fingertips to just sort of tap the upper chest, maybe just right below or against your collarbone, tapping on an inhale. And on an exhale, we're gonna do a big Tarzan thud and let all that exhale out. So let's give it a try. We'll do it 5 times. Inhale, tapping. Exhale, whoo, big thud. Inhale, tapping. Exhale, whoo. Inhale, tapping. Exhale, whoo. Inhale, tapping, and you might even tap or thud out your lower ribs. Whoo. One more. Now just let your hands hang now. Notice, where do you feel blood flowing, it's circulating? Where do you feel warmth in your body? What's it feel like in your chest? Breathe. Just noticing the sensations in your body. And again, where do you notice gravity's pull against your body? Good. Nice awareness. So now we're going to go to a slower practice. So you're welcome to sit down for this. And this part of the practice is something you could even do from the privacy in your car if you're needing just a little bit of time to yourself, just sitting in your car, even when you're not driving or going anywhere. Just having that space to get really quiet and really still. So for this part, it's a practice called orienting, and it allows your body to feel safe where you are. So I want you to start with just your eyeballs, just using your eyes to hit all four corners of your periphery in the room that you're in. So right now I'm looking up to the top corners of my room and down to the bottom baseboards. I'm just taking it all in. And then I very slowly start to add your neck. You might turn very slowly, moving much slower than you want to, just noticing. And then slowly turning your head in either direction as far as you can, moving very, very slowly. So almost like you're moving through a pool of jello, just going so slowly. When we move slowly, it runs on different nerve endings and sends messages up to our brain that this is very easy, right? It's easy for our body to do this. And we're taking in all our surroundings. So noticing in this room that you're doing this practice in, is anyone else with you? And we're allowing ourselves to just sort of look around and to see, and then to come back to center. So our brains are constantly orienting. If someone knocks on the door while we're filming this video, we're gonna look to the door and see, who is that? Is that a good surprise, a negative surprise? But the tension that draws our head to look towards that new surprise, that new element, it creates tension in our body before the affect, before the emotion shows up. So right now, we're just using our conscious brains to allow ourselves to move very slowly and to take in our surroundings. Okay, so now go ahead and center your head, and I want you to do the same thing with your shoulders. So slowly pull your shoulders up to your ears, really, really, really slow. And then very, very slowly drop your shoulders back down. How slow can you go? You might choose to invite your breath into this, just noticing the inhale and the exhale. Breathing at a pace that feels right for you as you slowly bring the shoulders back up. And slowly bring them back down. One more time. Good, and just noticing what it feels like in your body right now, just after that very slow movement. You can do that practice even in your wrists, right? So if this is your range of motion, trying to move right here, deeply within that range of motion, and hardly at all, like moving so subtly, so slowly. Really, really slow and gentle. And as we do this practice, we're sending through the afferent nerve endings back up to our brain messages that we're moving really slow and that we're well within our capabilities, well within what we're capable of as humans in this body, and that this is quite easy. So it allows our brain to feel like we're doing something that we can do, we can handle this. Good. Now just let your arms rest for a moment. Just sort of notice what it feels like. Can you sense or feel any subtle differences from starting that practice? Good. Let's close this practice with one final movement. So I invite you to bring one hand to your heart and one over top of it. If it's too much to touch your chest, you can always just let your hands float in front of your chest if touch feels like too much. And just gently opening the arms and closing them. That's all the movement is. I invite you, if it feels good in your body, to link this movement to breath. On an inhale, you could open, moving at your own pace, whether that's faster or slower than mine. On an exhale, closing. Arms could come way out, or they could stay really close into your body. You might try and see if you can alternate which hand comes to your heart. A little brain exercise. Can you sense and notice which hand comes to your chest first? You might invite an intention into this practice, opening up to a deeper sense of peace or grounding, and pulling that into your heart and chest. Good. Let's do one more. Just notice what that feels like to pull that intention to your heart. One final tip or trick that I'd like to leave you with is just the beauty and the benefit of humming. So in times of stress for myself, I like to hum often and as much as I possibly can. Humming helps to stimulate the vagus nerve and to get that very subtle vibration through the whole body. And if a tiger were running into this room, I wouldn't be humming. I would be kind of panting or a little bit panicked in my breathing. But humming helps to send a message up to the brain that we're safe, we're calm, that it's okay. So you might take a big breath in and just hum. And notice where you can feel that vibration. If you bring your hand up to your throat and you make the shush sound, like shh, there's no movement, no vibration there. But when we hum, a lovely vibration goes through our whole body. It's very soothing for the nervous system. It can feel like a nice, soothing hug. You could even pair it with an actual hug for yourself, maybe sticking one hand kind of under your armpit and looping around. This is a practice from Peter Levine, his somatic experiencing. And you can sort of hug yourself, loosening your grip, right, on the inhale. And exhale, maybe even humming. As you squeeze in, nice and tight, and a cozy hug. In a season of social distancing, physically distancing, it can feel like we can be quite isolated from touch and from hugs, connection. But it's important to remember we can do that for ourselves and our bodies, just giving yourself a nice big hug. So hopefully you can close this practice with that nice big hug. Notice what it feels like in your body. And as always, if it's too much, you can always choose not to do it. A lot of these practices came from Kaoverii Weber and Subtle Yoga, something that I learned in her trainings. I encourage you to check out her website. She's also putting out lots of wonderful content right now. And if you have any questions or concerns or comments, please comment below. And make sure to like and subscribe to this page so you can stay up to date on all the latest content that we're putting out. Thank you, and I hope that you and your loved ones are healthy and well.